Hello and welcome back everyone, and today I have for you a video on a shot-for-shot breakdown on the what's to come later this season trailer that we got at the back end of this past week's episode of The Challenge Season 35 Total Madness, and I'm specifically talking about episode 6. A lot of people thought that this would be the mid-season teaser. However, with now every episode having a cliffhanger it seems, and we know that the filming process for The Challenge Season 36 has been postponed because of the COVID quarantine. So with that being the case, I feel as though that it's not necessarily going to be the mid-season just yet, as we're probably going to have an elongated season, so we don't have a longer off season. I feel as though that this is just showing us what's later to come and that things are going to pick up later on in this season, so to have patience as us, the audience. So with that being said, I have a shot-for-shot breakdown. Let's get into this. Right away, we have this blurry picture of somebody that looks to be in an elimination, and from first glance, I feel as though that this is Tori. I mean, it's so blurry. It's kind of like one of those old school, like, Bigfoot videos where it's like really blurry and you can't tell what's going on in the background. So I feel as though that this could be Tori in an elimination. The next photo that we have here, it looks to be that this is like a close-up rig of something that's happening in an elimination. We have an elimination happening right here. We can see that Nelson is clearly in this elimination, as you can tell by the name on the helmet, and it looks like there is Bear, I would say, because if you look at the name, it looks as though that there's an AR, and it looks to be a shorter name. Also, the build looks about right. If it's Rogan's going into another elimination where he would be getting the Jade treatment, but I don't feel as though that's happening. It looks like 2 people are in the tribunal up at the top. Maybe there's a third person being cut off. Here we have a shot of Bananas, and it looks as though he's the only one in the tribunal, or is the only one being shot in the tribunal. He looks very happy with himself, so maybe somebody that he doesn't like is in the elimination. And then we have pictures of him on a couch saying that he's tired of waiting. He wants to go into an elimination and get his Red Skull, and then it kind of film dissolves into him being in an elimination. So we know he's going to be put into an elimination and he's going to want to go on in his terms. So it feels as though that he's going to want to be pushed into the elimination. Here's the picture that I talked about where it film dissolves into the elimination picture right here. So it looks as though that Bananas gets a little bit fed up of waiting. Maybe he sees all of the options dissolving around him and he feels as though that he needs to go in sooner rather than later, and he just jumps right in. Here we have a picture of a plane. It feels as though that they're gonna have to maybe jump out of the plane and do something. Maybe it's gonna be something similar to a daily challenge that we had earlier this season where the people had to be on the plane and throw down the crates. Maybe they're throwing something to hit a target. Maybe it's going to be 1 or 2 people in this tribunal rather than, say, a whole bunch of people or 3 people. And we've seen this in the super trailer. It's a glass room filled with suds and bubbles, and a bunch of people are going to be thrown in there. They're going to have to run around, do something. I still have a huge question mark of what's going to happen in this daily challenge because there's really nothing we can go on. Is it a maze? Are they trying to get out of this box full of suds in one piece? Are they trying to find something? Are they trying to do something? In this daily challenge, we have a couple of people running as a team with puzzle pieces in their hand, running underneath an underground tunnel. So there's gonna be like a relay race maybe, or something that's gonna be happening. We've seen in the super trailer, Bananas and Kyle are working together to do this daily challenge. Melissa holding on, we've seen this in the super trailer, the daily challenge where people are holding on to a bar where they're hovering inside like a well area, and then they let go, they drop right into like an underground sewer water retention situation where they're gonna have to swim all the way down to a platform. There's gonna be a lot going on. So I feel as though that this is going to be a fun one to watch. Again, I'm pretty sure that the water is going to be frigid cold. Here we have people holding on to giant rockets. Here's a better picture. There's a giant platform hanging over a cliff, we can see. They're all holding onto these rockets. If you look on the backhand, we see TJ standing next to a podium. So this is going to be the trivia challenge for this season of the challenge. They're gonna be holding onto rockets. Maybe they get 1 or 2 wrong, and then they're just gonna drop them. And they're gonna drop them all over this cliff. It's gonna be really, really fun to watch, probably really, really fun to hear all the stupid answers that they do. As you can clearly see, we have Josh right here. Swaggy, it looks like Swaggy C is in the background. It's really, really tough to see who all is in this challenge just because of how blurry everything is and everybody's holding onto the rockets in all different ways. Then we have Corey and Kyle here, as Corey is telling Kyle that he wants to go into the elimination and get his red skull already. And then the next scene, Corey is shown in an elimination where he's harnessed. It looks as though that he's in like a rock climber harness gear, and it looks possibly that he maybe has to do like a light bright situation, as on the right hand side of this picture there's like orange bulbs. Maybe he has to touch them in a certain way or make a light up picture of some sort, and he has to like bounce around this giant board. Here's the bar scene that we've seen in the super trailer and all the other trailers where Nelson and Kyle get into it. Josh is here trying to break up the fight, and Fessy is actually in the background behind Kyle. I was thinking about this, maybe what they're getting into a fight about is Nelson is calling out Bear to go into the elimination with him. Kyle, Rogan, and Bear are all like really, really close with one another. So maybe Kyle is getting frustrated that Nelson is calling out Bear, and that's why they get into a fight. Here we have an elimination in the purgatory, and this is Kyle, of course, and he's in a car, and you can see this giant rope coming out of the windshield. I feel as though that this could be a situation of not so fast, and instead of a giant metal cage, whether it's like a dome style cage or a giant jungle gym, it's more of a car, and they decide to use just a car and a giant rope, and they get like 20 minutes to wrap around this rope and tie it around these old dilapidated cars as fast as they can, and then they'll switch over and try to untie the opponent's car. Nani is here sitting next to Wes, and then she is yelling at somebody, calling them a corny AB. Jenna is still here. Maybe this is a look into this week's coming episode of episode 7 when she gets into the tribunal. Maybe she's hearing people yell and talk about stuff, or maybe this is later on in the season and she doesn't go into the elimination, or if she goes into the elimination in episode 7 and wins. We have no idea, but all we know is that we get an extra shot of Jenna. Nelson is losing his cool yet again, and this is when Nelson says, "I'm not playing this friendly game no more." First of all, when were you playing a friendly game at all? We just saw you yell at Anissa, and here's Nelson going into the elimination. Maybe this is him going into that one that we saw with him in the pole wrestle with possibly who I think is Bear. Maybe Nelson is walking away from the elimination or about to walk into the elimination. He doesn't look that dirty, maybe. I can't really see his back. It's very, very dark. This is the one where it really like makes me nervous, because this is where Big T is laying down. She has stuff behind her head to keep her elevated. You can see blood in the background, and she's yelling at somebody to tell her that it looks okay. Please tell me it looks okay. Tell me I'm okay, or tell me it is okay. She looks really frantic. She looks really manic. There's blood in the background. We saw in the super trailer something was dripping, like a foot was dripping with blood on it. Maybe she cracked her toe open. Will this lead to a medical DQ, or will she be able to play with it? I don't know, but it looks like it doesn't look good for Big T. Here's Tori in this elimination. It looks like she finally gets her wish by going into the elimination. We've heard it from weeks and weeks and weeks now that she's been wanting to go into the elimination, wants to get put into the elimination, wants to get her red skull to get into the finals of this season, and she's been trying to get into the tribunal herself. She was hoping that Jordan would get into the tribunal. Jordan is in this week's tribunal. Maybe this is the time that Tori is going to get her shot of going into the elimination. Maybe it's going to be like that flower pot elimination where you have to break something open to get a puzzle piece and then fix up a puzzle. That's what it seems to me, as we see Tori dropping this thing onto like a sifter and have it just like all this debris is just brushed over. Here we have what seems to be a daily challenge with Nani and Nelson, and they're carrying a lot of garbage. We saw in the super trailer that it looked to be Nani, Nelson, and I think Corey is being cut off in this shot. They're all carrying debris to a giant dumpster that's like all the way on the other side of this field. To me, this reminds me of War of the Worlds daily challenge, where everybody had to go grab a whole bunch of junk in this like junk pile garbage yard and bring it into your dumpster. You had a certain amount of time, and the person with the most in their dumpster could be the tribunal. We have Bailey crying. She is upset with somebody in the house, something that's happening. She's saying that the house is torturing her, that people are making her crazy. We saw on the challenge social media accounts that like a day or two ago, they dropped a sneak peek of what's gonna happen in episode 7 of the challenge Total Madness. And we saw that people were at the bar. Nani was getting a little tipsy. She was flirting very heavily with Casey. Nani goes to the bathroom. That's when Anissa tries to step in. Nani comes out of the bathroom, gets into Anissa's face, and Anissa and Nani are getting into a bit of a fight. We can see that Fessy and Kyle are trying to break things up, where our producer is also trying to break things up. A voiceover with Dee, so this leads me to believe that this is Dee, and she's about to run into that very soapy room rig. And then we get this with Dee. It looks to be in another elimination where she's all padded up, and she runs into what seems to be a hall brawl. So we see Dee getting thrown into another elimination later on in this season to go into a hall brawl. The past couple of seasons, we've seen a hall brawl later on in the season. So this is probably going to be one of the last 1 or 2 eliminations right before the finals. So Dee is going to be thrown in yet again against somebody else. Who is she going to be thrown in against? We're going to have to wait and see, but we're going to get a hall brawl, and Dee is definitely going to be in this hall brawl for sure. We get this time situation is running out is what the words call for it. It looks to be somebody in the elimination, which we can definitely see that it's bananas when I got to time it right with the pause. I feel as though that this daily challenge is going to happen when there's 11 people left in the game. As you can count all the people that are being rigged to be standing on these barrels. There's 10 of them, and then one person's gonna be in the car. They're gonna try to use the car to drift and kind of bowl their way and knock down as many people as they can. Running, this is the daily challenge from the super trailer where we get to see Fessy and Nelson working together, where there's a rig at the top of this tank that TJ is driving, and there's gonna be boxes, and then just colored smoke is going to be like bursting around them as they're driving past it. And then here's the soapy situation, the suds of them running in. It looks like people are trying to run out when some people are trying to run in. I feel as though that's CO, so that may be Corey that's standing right there. And here is the purgatory that I was talking about with Kyle, I believe. And here's the cars. There's 2 cars. There's a ring around them. It looks as though that they're going to have to take this rope, rub it around the cars, tie it up as fast as they can, and then they're gonna swap and have to undo all of their rope and then get it outside of the ring. The first person to do that would win, stay in the game, and get their red skull. And then we have Wes here, who looks very, very nervous for some reason, or he's just deep into thought. And then here's TJ. TJ is saying at one point that very few people have earned that red skull. A lot of time has been wasted. And he is like laughing. He is laughing at these people. Maybe that means that only a certain number of people actually have their red skull and everybody else is going to be sent home. And this could possibly be the last elimination right before the finals. Dee looks very, very worried. We see the Holy Trinity here. Jenna is here and she is not in the tribunal. So that means that either Jenna is not going to go into the next elimination for this episode, episode 7, that's going to be happening. So that means she's going to stay longer, so she's not quitting or anything or going into the elimination, or she does go into the elimination and win against whoever gets thrown in against her, so she's gonna even stay longer. And then this is the final shot, and you don't really see Jordan, but you can tell from the orange beanie that he's worn for a couple of tribunals now, but he's running behind everybody screaming frantically, "Why wouldn't you listen?" That just shows me that something bad is gonna happen when Tori goes into an elimination. That's all I can think about, because why would he get mad about somebody else's elimination, about somebody else being possibly eliminated? Other than Tori, nobody would get Jordan that upset, that animated. So that only tells me that possibly Tori could be leaving and not even making it to a finals. That's the last shot that we get before the logo for Total Madness comes back up. What'd you think about this trailer at the end of episode 6? Let me know that in the comment section below. What was your favorite? Is there something that you spied that I didn't? Let me know that in the comment section below. I want to hear anything and everything. I want to hear all the conspiracy theories. What do you think? Do you think this is actually the mid-season teaser? Because it was only a minute. This was only a minute trailer when normally a mid-season is like 2 to 3 minutes. But what do you think about it? Let me know that in the comment section below. Out of everything that you've seen with the eliminations and daily challenges, which one are you most looking forward to? Let me know that in the comment section below. And who are you rooting for? Let me know that too. Thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really, really soon with more challenge content, brief histories, top 10s, top 5s, fantasy cast videos, all that good stuff. Join me on Thursdays for the challenge Total Madness review and recaps, and Friday for Tiny Table Talk for the challenge 35 Total Madness. But until then, peace.